I want to catch up dinner with my high school ex. Now everyone's upset because I let him on. By the way, this comes from Plenty Shoulder 8452. So on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I, 30 female, am currently engaged to my partner, 30 male of 11 years, and we have 2 daughters together and are very happy. My fiance, we will call him Nick, was always aware of my ex from high school as they have spoken in the past. My ex, let's call him Donnie, we dated in intermediate/junior high, but started off as just really good friends. We were both really close with each other's parents as well, and I was like a little sister to his siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister. This fact is important. When my dad passed away, him and his family showed up and traveled 6 hours to support me and my mom at the funeral. We were living in the city at the time, but after my dad passed away, my mom wanted to move back to our small town. Being a hormonal 13-year-old, I felt like my world was ending. And unfortunately, Donnie and I both agreed that we could not go long distance, but would keep in touch as friends to check in every once in a while. He ended up moving to Australia after high school and had a girlfriend and a baby as well. Okay, that's not nothing. Now that history view is done, here it goes. 3 weeks ago, I got a text from a random number. Nobi, I'm back home and would love to catch up for dinner this weekend. Straight away, I knew who it was, as that was a nickname for me. I was so excited, and I showed my fiance. He was at first suspicious, but trusted me, so all he said was have fun, but not too much fun. That weekend, my kids were going up to their nans, and Nick had a fishing trip in the same city that Don moved to. I told Nick, and he said it was perfect. We can save on gas and just take 1 car, and I would pick him up afterwards. Well, on the next day, I texted Donnie saying I'd meet for an early dinner as I have to pick up Nick from the harbor at 6 p.m. before having to go back to our small town, and Donnie replied saying it was all good and told me where to meet. I dropped Nick off with his packed dinner and a few beers and met Donnie at the restaurant. When I got there, he was waiting dressed close to in a tux, but with a muscle shirt and a suite with flowers. This was the first red flag, and to be honest, I cringed because he did that when we were dating, and you really shouldn't be doing that now. I looked like I had been cleaning up my house, no makeup or hair, in a messy bun with leggings and a baggy tee. He hugged me and he gave me the bouquet to where I said, "What are those for?" He said he missed me and thought a gift would be inappropriate, but flowers aren't. I said he didn't need to because I didn't get him anything. He shrugged and led me into the restaurant, which was a major bougie. It was bad and bougie, guys. Once seated, the waitress came over and immediately started to flirt with him, but he ignored her and kept his eyes on me. I felt uncomfortable and told him to talk to her because he was being rude. He laughed it off and began to order. During dinner, we did a huge debrief on our lives. I told him about the wedding planning and my kids, and he told me that his relationship ended and it was complicated, but he was glad he was home. Then the waitress brought the bill, and I went to pull out my card when he said, no, my shout, put that away. I never say no to free food. After paying, we were able to leave when he grabbed my hand and asked me to follow him outside to the patio of the restaurant. When we got outside, he broke down and told me he has never stopped having feelings for me. And if I didn't move, that we would have stayed together and wanted to get back together. He also told me that his girlfriend broke up with him because he accidentally says my name when they have spicy sleep.
What? Yo!
That's not an accident.
I'll have what she's having.
That's an accident once. That's not an accident more than once.
Me and him never did the deed together. And that he would follow my socials, and she was absolutely sick of it. Not only this, but he told me he named his son's middle name after my late father. I was mixed in emotions of anger, sympathy, pity, and disappointment. I didn't say a word. I just stared at him. After what seemed like hours, I had told him that I had to go, and I just left. He chased, but I got in my car and drove away in tears. When I got to the harbor, I picked up my fiance, who could tell I was upset, and I had told him what happened. He was furious and wanted to sort him out. I told him that I just wanted to go home, and he completely understood and took me home. 20 texts and 12 missed calls later,
My God.
I pick up the call from Donnie and we start talking.
Ugh.
I told him how inappropriate and weird he was, and that after hearing how happy I was during our catch-up dinner, he still tried to get me to be with him. I told him I agreed to the dinner as a friend and that what he did has made me want to go no contact. He first started to apologize and then went to trying to guilt trip me, first about being there for me when my dad passed away and Nick was nowhere to be found. I met Nick 2 years afterwards, so that didn't make any sense. Then went on to say that I ruined his relationship? Like how? And lastly, that I made a fool out of him. I apologized that he was too delulu to realize that it was all him and that my reaction was valid because what he did came out of nowhere.
I don't know, girl. Sounds like you just missed out on a prime candidate for Man of the Year here.
Dude, right? He told his family and they are split. His mom and sister are telling me I'm a complete a-hole for leading him on, quote unquote. And if I didn't want a relationship with him, I shouldn't have went to dinner. But his brothers think he's deranged and told him not to go through with it when he told him what they planned.
What is wrong with the mom and sister? You shouldn't have let him on. I didn't.
Dude.
We were 13.
Like, calm down, people. Nick thinks Donnie needs a hiding or maybe is hiding something or maybe needs therapy, but mainly wanted to punch him multiple times. Half my friends agree with his mom and sister and think that I was leading him on by going, stop it.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
What do you mean by that? That it was an a-hole move, and the other half told me not to listen to the first half and ask Reddit. Okay, so am I the a-hole? Edit, because there's a lot of confusion around the ages. Let me just sprinkle a little bit of context. One, my dad and Donnie's aunt used to date, so when Donnie would stay at my aunt's house, I would sometimes be there. He was 8 and I was 6 years old. Him and my dad used to be real close. And my dad would always involve Donnie and everything, and we did like a play when we would like play at the park or go swimming. Number 2, where I'm from, you can start high school earlier depending on the month you were born. If your birthday lands before June, I think. Anyways, you get put in with the big kids. My dad passed a couple of months before my 14th birthday, so he had been dating for about a year and a few months. By the way, you can date us, everyone except for me, for the rest of your life by just tapping our profile, guys, on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and joining us on our lives like we are right here. Get in here. Just come in here right now. Because I have to talk with Dakota, okay? You could be here right now for this, so it's up to you. No contact.
Of course, no contact.
No contact.
And also, like, probably low contact with the sister and the mom, because it's like, why are they saying this was your You are literally reconnecting with somebody you have not seen for more than a decade, right? How old are they?
13.
Well, how old are they? They're like they've got to be in their 20s now, right? At least. It's been at least 10 years since you've seen this guy.
30.
Yeah, so it's been almost 2 decades since you've seen this guy. In what universe is going to dinner with this dude, leading him on after almost 20 years? What is that? That is not leading anybody on. You have a husband.
Hey, Dakota.
He has a wife.
You remember when you came over to my house recently and we had like watched a movie? Why are you trying to sleep with me and marry me?
Oh, because I was literally I'm sorry. I was within your proximity, which means that the only thing I want to do is marry you and steal you from whoever you're with at the
why
moment.
did you walk within 6 feet of me? Because that obviously means that you want to marry me and steal me away, right?
I am head over heels in love with you, and I will do anything it takes.
I did love him at one point in my life, but when I met the soon-to-be hubby, the love reverted to friendly love instead, and now is just destroyed. I will never look at him the same. I have blocked him and his family on everything, and I am so glad I didn't want to show off my cooking skills or introduce him to my kids. Mama's intuition, I guess. That's one thing me and Nick did the Phew. Look,
Yeah.
after all this went down.
100%. Yeah. 100%.